The new light duty pickup truck gets a refresh in the front, and inside it's going to have a whole new dashboard layout, but you gotta be careful because they option it as a carryover. We also have some off-road performance just like this. Regal GMC gives us the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali in Summit White. The only truck that has a multi-pro tailgate to make it easier for an everyday use. You're not gonna see that with a Ram, a Tundra, or a Ford. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm gonna go over all the specs and details starting now. The GMC Sierra 1500 Denali is going to have all the chrome on the front and on the lower, your C-structure, LED headlamps, and daytime runnings. This is a refresh, so the lower is not going to have the D-shaped fog lamps. It's going to still be LED, but you're going to have that D right here. That's a little air pocket. Front and rear parking sensors, 360-degree reverse camera, ground clearance nearly 8 inches. And your headlamp assembly will enter into your fenders. These are upgraded wheels. These are 22-inch carbon finish metallic wheels. Behind those wheels, 13.5 inches the front disc, the rear at 14.1 inch. Both are ventilated, fully box frame, independent front suspension, a solid rear axle, auto-locking rear differential, Denali premium suspension with adaptive ride control. AT4 adds 2-inch factory lift plus skid plates. A length at 231.9 inches, a wheelbase at 147.4 inches. The mirror housing forms that C structure with the chrome on the top and around all your window treatment and on the door handles. Power running boards, looking at the rival to the Ford F-150 V8 that's gonna have the Coyote V8. It's one of my favorite because it's derived from the Mustang parts bin. This is gonna have more payload and towing capacity. The Ram, you'll have to go to the Hemi. And the same thing, this is going to pack more underneath for towing and a payload. Tundra, twin turbo. They offer 3 different variants. Even though they've increased about 18% in the towing and 12% in the payload, this is still going to be the most capable of all of them. C-structure LED tail lamps, Witcher steps on the bumper, 360-degree reverse camera. This is the Denali. Reverse parking sensors. You have the tow hook and your spare tire tucked underneath with dual exhaust outlets for this 5.3 V8. 6 different ways you can open this trunk. Payload between 1,570 to 2,310 pounds. Cargo length at 75.4 inches, a height at 22.4 inches. Between the wheel well housing at 50.63 inches, giving us a total of 62.9 cubic feet. Carbon fiber composite bed, max tow at 11,200 pounds. 5.3 liter V8. Let's go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. With the GMC Sierra 1500 Denali, you have payload, you have towing, and they back the performance with a 5.3 liter V8 producing 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 14 to 19 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 around 6.6 seconds with a quarter mile at 14.7 to 16.5, top speed around 130 miles per hour. And what these numbers equivalent to is it's not going to be the fastest variant comparing it against the rivals, but the capabilities that it can do does beat the rivals in which I've been talking about today. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the GMC 1500 Sierra Denali. With the running boards, it makes it easy because it's a step up, and I do like how I feel so far in the cockpit, with headroom starting at 43.03 inches, legroom at 44.53 inches, atmosphere brownstone with 10-way power seat adjustments. They are leather wrapped, heated, ventilated, and we have the new layout for the dashboard, which are 13.4 inch infotainment. We have navigation, we got the pinch, we got the swipe. Click that home button so you can see that we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Click into your trailering, which is a really cool setup that they have added into this vehicle. You can just do it as a new trailer, so we can show you some of the tutorial. You just click onto one and it shows you every single thing to make it easier for service and for the longevity of your trailer. Click back into the home. You have your My GMC, Google Assist, and the cameras. We have multiple camera options. So each one of them, you have 2 different sections, which also makes it super easy and convenient for any type of towing or loading. Put it into reverse, and you got your 360-degree reverse camera. You can click onto here, you'll have your full trajectory, or you can just do it for the tow line. The satin aluminum that wraps underneath, going into your dual climate control settings, your new push button start, a large storage pocket here with some more button functionalities, area that you could put your key fob or some pins, anything like that, with a USB A and C cup holders. I would say about a 32 ounce should be able to fit. Wireless charging pad right here with the new gear lever and another storage pocket right here. Open up inside and you have a storage tray. Pick that up. It's a deep storage pocket with 2 more USB ports and a home plug. Put that big pocket back in, close it up, go into your 4-spoke leather wrapped steering wheel. It's heated, it's multi-function. We get the paddle shifters, the gauge cluster, full digital 12.3 readout. Having your navigation, your phone, and you can make it on all sides. So I like how easy it is to change all of the sides too, because usually what happens when you get into these type of vehicles, it gets so overwhelming that it's hard to change from right to left. Here you can do it pretty seamless. Everything just adjusts through the center. The aluminum inlays that go into your door panel, it's more of an everyday material with the wood, and you'll get some chrome memory for the driver. Denali badging, 1 touch up and down for the front windows, and it's going to be pretty soft for your elbows with a large storage pocket and your upgraded Bose sound system. For the back seats, I'm at 40.12 inches of headroom, 43.4 inches of legroom. It's super wide. It's almost an SUV inside this truck. Heated rear seats with a USB A and C and your air vent, storage behind both of the front seats. The door panels gets the same material as the front, everyday material, and you'll have the soft for your elbows, a large storage pocket, and a nice thing about these is you got storage behind both of the seats. You can split fold these at a 60-40 split. You'll have a divider tray here, and where the floor is almost flat, it makes it easier for loading. Sitting into the center, headroom is no issue, nor is leg space. I have my own cup holders. I am blocking the air vents a little bit, and the heated seat switches and your USB ports. However, because it's so wide, butt and shoulder space is no problem and head space is the same, you will be sitting a bit forward, meaning it has a pretty hard lumbar support for your back. So if you have some back issues, sitting in the center is actually going to be a little bit better for you. 383 horsepower, a little bit of off-road. It glides pretty good. You do feel it, but you're expecting to feel the bumps when you're doing any type of off-roading, whether it's light or hardcore, in which I'm doing obviously the lighter of the two. The nice thing though is your towing capacity is over 11,000 pounds with this 5.3 liter V8 engine, so you will be able to tow a lot more than the rivals. For an everyday drive, you have plenty of clearance going over any imperfections or Speed bumps. For the 2023, we are getting an AT4X with the AEV edition, which will give you 18-inch wheels, about 5 skid plates, front and rear steel bumpers. I'm glad to see that we have the updated interior, because the carryover is definitely something that I dislike, and I've talked about it in a lot of different vehicle brands that do this, where they offer you 2 different options. Nobody wants the old option. They want the refreshed. Cruising down the road, you're not going to hear hardly anything. There's no dual pane windows. It does feel long and it does feel wide, but it's not hard to drive. The steering wheel has a little bit of weight, but it's very artificial, so turning is a lot more seamless. Everyday drive. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this Denali. To start off with is the tailgate for the truck here. You got 6 different ways to configure it to make it easier for you. All the trucks should be doing this. The second thing that I like about this is the storage capacity in the back. They even open up the seat so you can put things back there. So if you're on a journey and you're like, oh man, I don't have no room, just move up, put it back. The last thing that I like is the layout for the interior of the front. Great job on the refresh. Obviously, I dislike that they have a carryover, but you have so much more storage capacity in this and you're not sacrificing anything. Now let's see how well she goes. Maneuverability. And like I said, even though it's a long vehicle and it feels a bit wide, you can maneuver in and out of the lanes and you have enough performance to keep up with the traffic. The engine note gets up, but I like a V8 sound, so it definitely makes it a little bit more pleasurable. As you get up to a higher speed, road noise does filter in, but these are 22-inch wheels. Braking in the vehicle is not going to be the best in class, but let's see how well she does. It grabs, but it's a heavy vehicle, so just probably put the brake a little bit earlier than later. Turn radius at a stop point is going to get a lot of lanes, right at almost 3 lanes. There we go. There's a great soundtrack. You don't necessarily feel it in the torque or the power. 3 things that I dislike. Starts off with, it's an option for the Super Cruise, which this should be standard when you get into the Denali. I don't want to have any options. I want it fully loaded, because that's why I bought the Denali trim. The second thing that I dislike is the gauge cluster. I have to put the steering wheel super high because I'm tall in order to actually read how fast I'm going, and it kind of makes it a little bit uncomfortable. The last thing that I dislike is it's a lot more harder materials, and this is a refresh for the front, and I would like to see a little bit more softer materials because of the price point that we're at. When we go into the rivals, the Ram, if you step it up another $10,000, $20,000, I know that sounds like a lot, but when you're already around $70,000, $80,000, it's not too much of a difference. They add leather to the grab handles. These are little details that you like to see in the Denali. Overall drive though, it is good. You're not gonna get the best gas consumption, but that's not what you're expecting with a V8. As for visibility, a long hood, a smaller dynamic front windscreen that is oval shape with A-pillars that are chunky. So it does give a more sporty drive to this, and the way this setup is, it looks a lot more sporty than the F-150. And the reason why I say that is because the F-150 just went too big with this center screen. We don't need something that's 20, 30, 40 inches. We're not at home. We only need 10, 13.4 is the max, and just pivot it correctly so that way we don't have any reflection and it's easier for the driver to use it. Toyota Tundra, I like the new design. Great vehicle. However, even with the smaller screen, you don't get anything for your navigation. You're gonna have to pay monthly subscription fees. Here you're taken care of. You do have over-the-air updates, so that is something to be concerned about in the future about paying for these updates, because everything can be derived through that infotainment screen. As for power, The Tundra and this one are going to feel similar. The twin turbo, if you get the lower variant, this is going to be faster. If you get the higher variant, obviously that one's going to be a touch faster than this one. The Ram Hemi, it's going to be the same thing, and you get a little bit more of an exhaust note, but you could put a catback on this, a lot more throaty. Everyday drive, very easy. It is super long, so that is something to be not cautious with. You got your blind spot monitoring and you got enough power. I like to thank Regal GMC for giving us this 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the Instagram, merchandise, and website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.